Welcome to WagerTalk.com. I am Kelly Stewart, joined by Brian Leonard and Preston Johnson. Let's talk some ACC basketball. Saturday, we are filming on Wednesday, guys, so just a little disclaimer, we do not have a line. Ken Palm makes Duke a 21-point favorite in this matchup. Trey Jones, questionable for this one. Preston, your thoughts on the Blue Devils? I thought this team was red hot to start the season. I know you have a sizable futures bet on them as well. And
I do, yeah.
Your thoughts on them laying 21 here at home?
I just,
or I'm sorry, on the road.
I think they're at home, aren't they?
Unless Johnny messed up.
No, they are at home. There's a few.
He wrote it funny. You're
Johnny
right.
wrote it wrong.
You can blame Johnny.
It's not my fault.
They're home, right?
Right here. Anyway, sorry.
They're home. I have to check.
Duke Blue Devils laying 21 at home.
I'll just say for one, yes, I think they're the best team in the country. They have all the NBA talent that usually just gets better and better as the season progresses. But Reddish was out a little bit, and then Jones has been out for a few games, and they even lost that Syracuse game when those guys missed. So they have weaknesses, especially, and we're going to get to this in a little more detail, shooting the three ball. And Syracuse basically played zone and said, beat us with the three, and Duke couldn't really do it, right? And they struggled defensively against Syracuse on top of it. But my projection is 22.7 for Duke, so it's a little bit higher than Ken Palm, assuming Jones plays. If he's out, because he is questionable and he's missed a few in a row, then I think the market for him has been about 2 points the last few games. So we have a couple examples there. So maybe it'll be more like 20, 20 and a half, or closer to where Ken Palm is. So that's my projection there, and then the total I have in the upper like 149 range. So if he's out, it'd be a little bit lower there too. So those are my projections. The key thing on the flip side, people maybe haven't been following Georgia Tech as closely. I actually did bet them yesterday because they had three guys that were questionable, two that were doubtful. Abdoulaye Uge, I think is his name, and then he's a guy from Senegal who's a senior, who's a prospect that never really panned out until this season. He's actually finally playing well. And then Jose Alvarado is their best player, leading scorer, leads the team in assists, leads the team in steals. He was back yesterday too, and they ended up going from plus 3.5 to pick, or maybe +1 some spots against Notre Dame. They won that game, so assuming those two guys play again, then you're expecting a full strength Georgia Tech team outside of Brandon Alston, who's their sharpshooter, who has missed a few games in a row, and he did not play yesterday. So he's more questionable. But you have to kind of take in, this is again, we talked about it in the NBA video too, just who's resting, who's out, this and that. These players impact a point spread a couple points. That's a huge edge if you're able to get ahead of it, or if you have the information, or at least just betting it once you get the information right away. If you kind of ahead of time know this is my target on either side or either team. So a lot of what will happen, I think, will be dictated by who's playing for sure and what the spread is come Saturday.
So, Brian, I was fading Duke there for a couple of games just for fun. I got lucky with the Virginia game. Was really happy with the Syracuse outcome, obviously. Didn't think Syracuse was going to go in there and win. So I went ahead and rode the streak again with Pitt last night, and Duke actually came to play, played a really great game on the road. Now they're back home. Your thoughts on this Blue Devils team, and what is your buy-on number? I know you do your own power ratings, so what number are you looking at to either play on or against Duke here? Yeah,
my number is 23, and as what I said in the previous video, and I just heard Cheetah talk about, you need a 2-point advantage to be able to take advantage of that. So I've got it at 23, and as he pointed out with the Georgia Tech players coming back, I actually had a friend from that area, from the Atlanta area, telling me earlier.
Or did you grab it then too?
Yeah,
nice.
So we beat the spread by a point or two on that one, and was able to take advantage of it. So you always have to keep in mind for the players coming back. The thing I don't like about the Yellow Jackets is I'm really into efficiency when it comes to shooting the basketball, and 28% of their plays, 28% of their shots are coming from long distance twos. They're not in the paint, they're not three-pointers, and that's the worst place you want to shoot. If you've got a team where you're shooting more from long two-pointers than anywhere else, that's a team I'm not looking to play on, and that's what they've done. And we'll see now with some of the other guys coming back if that continues. But amazing stat that I ran across, Duke dunks the ball 16.7% of their plays.
That
is amazing. Overall,
6 possessions.
Yeah. Overall in the paint, 44.1% of their shots are taken in the paint, and they're hitting 69% of those shots. So you've got a team in Duke. They're not only great by doing that, but they're deep. They've got, since conference play started, they've got 10 guys that are getting at least 16% of the minutes. They're getting very deep, and as you pointed out, every power rating that I see has Duke higher than everybody else, usually about 1.5 points or more. Maybe it's similar to the Alabama we thought all season long in football. But right now, it's tough to go against Duke. If Duke is coming to play, they're a team that can really beat you up.
As far as the actual X's and O's go, real quick about the matchup, if you were looking at Georgia Tech potentially, say Jones doesn't go and you can get a plus 23, or maybe Reddish is out, right? The weakness for Duke really is their three-point shooting. As a team, I think they only shoot about 30.5%. Maybe it's 31% now. That's why they lost to Syracuse. even Barrett, Zion Williamson, they don't have guys. Reddish is really the only pure shooter, and then even he's only shooting 32 or 33%. And then I think Jack White's like the one guy that can shoot near 40%, and he's been getting an increase in minutes. But they don't shoot as a team very well. And you actually look at the matchup, and Georgia Tech defends the three. They only like 27.4% opponent three-point percentage. It's 8th in the country. Duke's 292nd in the country shooting the three. And so that actually benefits Georgia Tech somewhere. Their strength actually is limiting threes and at least contesting them and whatnot. And if Duke's launching threes because they think it's going to be an easy win and they're playing a little more lazy enough, Zion and RJ Barrett are just going to the rack and dunking it one every 5 or 6 plays. I mean, it's going to be hard to stop. You're going to have to foul them and make them to, shoot free throws. That's a different story. But if they're shooting a ton of threes and falling into that trap, I mean, that actually plays into Georgia Tech's strength. So it's something to watch for, at least in game or second half, if you catch it early, or if the spread is too high and Jones is out.
All right, great stuff from both guys. WagerTalk Text Club, it's 100% free. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to get a $10 coupon for signing up, plus free picks and other special offers.